Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Thanks for being here. Welcome to a brand new day of your life. Hope all is well. I wanted to chat with you today about something that is probably the number one concern of women in our 60 and Me community. Now, of course, we're dealing with all kinds of other changes in our bodies and our life, but one thing that everybody says is their prime concern is having friends. You know, I think that friendship as you get a little older is so important. And in fact, studies have been done that have shown, that in terms of longevity and health and well-being, having a social group, having a social connection is more powerful than any medicines, any kind of thing you can do externally. Having connections with friends is so important. So I wanted to talk to you today about some ways that we can make friends as we get a little older, maybe some ways that you haven't even thought about. Rosemary Cass is one of our bloggers, and she wrote this article on 7 uncommon ways to make friends as a boomer woman. And I thought, that's a good idea, because people always say, well, it's great that I know that I need friends, but where do I find them? How do I get them? And of course, to set the reality is that as we've gotten older, we have lost our friends. I mean, maybe they've moved away into another country, even perhaps, or they've passed away. That's a very difficult thing to deal with as we get older. And sometimes, of course, we've stopped working. And maybe not under the right circumstances. We've been made redundant or had to leave work, and we've lost that context of the work friendships. Now, admittedly, they may not have been that close and intimate friends, but they were our friends. They were our work colleagues, and we've lost those. And of course, if you're a mom, you may have made a lot of friends around your children, around, just common like-minded interests. And then, of course, when the kids go off to college and they leave you in an empty home, then you don't have those friends. So it's really, I'm stating the obvious that as you get older, you really do have to think about new ways of actually making new friends. And, you may find yourself now that you're not enjoying life as much. You may be dealing with depression. Loneliness is a huge issue for us. And of course, we need some people to fill those gaps. We just have to work harder. I think that's the thing. And we have to make now, as I'm recording this video in June, the pandemic modifications. It's not as simple as saying, oh, well, I'll just go to this event, or I'll go to this activity, or the theater, or the movies, or I'll do whatever, where I might bump into people that would become a friend. But, most of what's listed in this article, and I think we have to think this, we have to think of what's going to be coming soon. We can't constantly be living in this moment of depression about not being able to get out. And so this is kind of post-pandemic advice, and you can be planning for it now. Now, there's, of course, opportunities with a group called Meetup. Now, Meetup, like many groups, has had to postpone and delay and cancel its activities in person, but you'll find that a lot of their activities have moved online. Now, this going online may be the way right now that you can do this. You can join like-minded people who have similar interests as you, and then you can actually make friends. And then you can get together with those friends after it's possible to travel, after it's possible to get to know each other. I'm hoping for some sunshine here today. It's a beautiful day, but there we go. So that's the first thing, is to just use Meetup, use online groups, use online gatherings, and just go to the same places that you always went to meet people online. And you'll find that there are lots of activities that are taking place on the computer, on Zoom. And in fact, I'll just mention the one we have here at 60 and Me, because we have a supporters group on Patreon, which is a supporters network for different groups, with patreon.com /60 and Me, where we have a group of women who meet Monday, Wednesday. We have a live show we call it our Friendship Lounge. And at the beginning, it was called the Lockdown Lounge, because it was during lockdown. But Friendship Lounge is where we get together and we just talk. We do virtual travel. We choose a place and we just go there sort of virtually together. And we also just talk and chat. And so far, I would say maybe 4 or 5 people have made connections with each other. Not a huge number, but every single person that connects. Now, it's a large group of people, and you can see and talk to many people on this online platform. One woman's even going traveling with someone in that group. They've agreed that they're going to book a cruise and they're going to travel together. Because to start with, 60 and Me is a good place to meet people, because we're all in the same age group, in the same sort of demographic. So we know that women we're going to meet here are going to be more or less our well, like-minded in some respects, certainly related to life priorities and aging. So we're going to do socially distanced things. There'll probably be vaccine groups pretty soon, don't you think? I think there will be groups where people who have had vaccines will feel comfortable getting together, meeting with people. I just noticed that the theater in our town is opening. And of course, it's all socially distanced, several seats in between everybody. But there was a jazz night the other night, and, it's just like, it's happening, it's starting again. And if you spend this time getting to know who you are, do that, because this is a precious time where there's no requirement to please anybody else. Just do your own thing. You will find, that when the doors open up, you can go to those places that you love. I love bookstores. I will go in a bookstore and stay there for hours and hours. I just really love sitting in a bookstore and reading books or just looking. And I know that in time, I'll go back to my bookstore and have a cup of coffee, and there will be people next to me that I can chat with, and we can share book stories or craft stories or whatever. So it's just a matter of knowing yourself and then being poised and ready. So what are some of the other things you can do? Okay, well, of course you can take courses online. Now, Udemy, Coursera, all those people are big groups worldwide, thousands of people. But you can find groups online, craft groups, reading groups, travel groups that are just, I'm not able to do their thing right now, knitting groups, but you can join those courses, hone your skills, learn something new. Like we've talked about this a million times, like watercolors or paints or knitting or anything, making jewelry, whatever you love. Another thing is to become active in your church group. Now, a lot of people in our community are, faithful people who have used their church as a great source of strength, and they are doing all kinds of things with volunteering in the community, helping children, teaching online. You don't have to be in person, but try doing some things that are like, just your passions. And of course, you can't personally volunteer to do, if you're not affiliated with a church or community group, do your own thing with volunteering to help with, some people are doing vaccine support. Some people are helping communicate a marketing message for a community group that's helping others during this pandemic. And then there's some kind of not so, well, those are the standard things you might expect to do, but then there's some not so standard, like, talk more, just talk with everybody. I have a friend at the train station that I always talk to, and every time I go in there to get a ticket, you can get them in the machine, but I always go and chat with her. And I have a lady at the bank too that I always talk to, and I know where she's going on her trips when she can, and just talk to everybody. Don't be so, I know there's the mask and the whole thing is going on, but maybe talk through the mask. It's okay. I went into a little shop. It was in a town nearby the other week, and the woman, it was a place that's actually kind of cool. They sell jewelry, vintage jewelry. It's all kind of crazy stuff. And the woman was saying that people are starting to come back now. The shops are open here in Switzerland, but she said that nobody wants to talk to her. Like they come in, they look around, they buy something, they go out. But it's before, she said, people would talk about where the jewelry came from and, what the unique features were. Now they just want to get out. And we know that in that case, you're both wearing masks, is probably okay. But it's all, we've got to deal with it in our own way. You can actually run for office. What about that? I mean, we're all super hyper, not so much, well, maybe some critical, but more or less, have a point of view about how things are done. Go ahead and run for office. Put your words into action, your thoughts, your beliefs. What if you have if you have a passion for nature and for conservation, and you're concerned about climate change and about, just teaching children about nature, there's all kinds of little things you can do to join someone else's cause. Say you've got a person running for office who believes the same things as you. Help them. Take a stand. The other thing is to start your own group. And you can do it on Meetup, or you can just go on to all kinds of Facebook groups right now. I know there's one that I jump onto now and again. It's solo travel for over 50s. And it's not singles travels, it's just solo. And the idea is that women, mostly women, well, there's some guys who think of an idea, like let's go to Crete. And they find out where there's a cool holiday, then they book. And then they invite others to join them. It's not like they're organizing it or anything. It's like, I'm going to Wales in 22 March. And I am actually going to Wales with, I think it's 10 other people now. It's going to be fun. So do that. Get a dog. Arrive early on your Zoom calls. This is a good one because, and ask people about themselves. Just rather than just being a sea of people that chats, just pick one, come early. Most people jump on these calls early, so you can, or stay later maybe. But anyway, be creative in the ways that you connect. It's really super important. So do you have any experience with any of the suggestions that we've made? How are you making friends during this time? How are you planning for the future? I hope that you found it useful, everybody. If you like this video, please give me a like, thumbs up. That would be really helpful, and it helps YouTube to spread this message with a wider group. And just join the channel if you can. I'd love to have you subscribe to our family and welcome you here. And thank you so much for your support, for your love, for your engagement here on 60andMe, and sending you all my very best. Take good care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye for now.